Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. We are glad that you're here. I'm Steve.
And I'm Scott.
Together, we're Backyard Musings, Science and Technology Channel.
Yeah, and we're talking about another health topic this afternoon, and it is a good one compared to the one that we talked about this morning. This one is, we like these kind of stories, right?
Exactly. A
Okay.
triple drug approach that blocks the KRAS pathway, that's KRAS pathway, at 3 points eliminated pancreatic tumors and prevented resistance in mouse models. Existing treatments for pancreatic cancer often stop working within a few months because tumors quickly develop resistance to the drugs. Researchers at Spain's National Cancer Research Center, CNIO, report that they have prevented this resistance in animal studies by using a 3 drug combination therapy. Would you like to know more?
Okay, here we go. The researchers say their findings pave the way for the design of combined therapies that may improve survival, although they caution that this progress will not immediately translate into new patients or new treatments for patients. Mariano Barbasit, head of the experimental oncology group at CNIO, emphasizes that we are not yet in a position to carry out clinical trials with this triple therapy. Why
Okay,
not?
so they got a little ways to go, I guess.
Okay.
Pancreatic cancer remains one of the most aggressive cancers. In Spain alone, more than 10,000 people are diagnosed with the disease every year.
Wow.
Because it is usually detected at advanced stages and effective treatments remain limited, fewer than 10% of patients survive 5 years after diagnosis. However, scientists say research efforts are beginning to accelerate after decades of limited progress.
Barbacid, who leads the experimental oncology group at the National Cancer Research Center, developed a treatment strategy that eliminated pancreatic tumors in mice in a durable way and without major side effects. The study appears in PNAS, which is Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, on December 2nd of last year. Carmen Guerra served as co-lead author with Vasiliki Liaki and Sarah Barambana, I'm not making these names up, as first authors. The study has been funded by the Fundación CRIS, or CRIS, Contra el Cáncer, the European Research Council, and the State Research Agency, through co-financing with the European Regional Developmental Fund, Next Generation EU funds, and the Biomedical Research Networking Center, and the Carlos III Health Institute. Okay.
Yeah, I think Carlos III is the king. All
Carlos.
right.
Oh,
Quote, these studies open the road to design novel combination therapies that may improve the survival of PDAC patients, pancreatic ductal adenocarcinoma, the most common type of pancreatic cancer, the authors state in PNAS. Continuing to quote, these results set the course for developing new clinical trials.
in 2021, drugs designed to target specific molecular drivers of pancreatic cancer were approved for the first time after more than 50 years without major improvements beyond traditional chemotherapy. These treatments focus on KRAS, a gene mutated in about 90% of pancreatic cancer cases. Although these drugs represent a significant step forward, their benefits are limited because tumors frequently adapt and become resistant within months. Wow, that's crazy.
Barbacid has spent decades studying KRAS and developing experimental models of pancreatic cancer, and his team focused specifically on overcoming this resistance problem. The approach developed by the CNIO group aims to shut down the KRAS oncogene at 3 different points along its signaling pathway rather than targeting a single point. When only one part of the pathway is blocked, cancer cells can often bypass the blockage. By interrupting several points at once, the pathway becomes much harder for the tumor to reactivate. In mouse models, genetically removing 3 molecules involved in KRAS signaling caused pancreatic tumors to disappear permanently.
These people that do these tests and retests and retests and retests, they've just got to have an unmeasurable amount of patience, right? Because they just do it over and over and over again until I guess they get the results, right? Do you ever hear about any of these people saying, "Hey, we're done. We can't do any more of this"? But yeah, they just keep. My hat's off to them. Translating this concept into treatment requires drugs capable of blocking those same 3 points in the KRAS pathway. To test this strategy, the researchers combined 3 agents into a single therapy. The regimen included the experimental KRAS inhibitor daraxonrasib, the approved lung cancer drug afatinib, and a protein degrader known as SD36.
The team tested this 3-drug combination in 3 separate mouse models of pancreatic ductal adenocarcinoma. In every model examined, the treatment triggered strong and long-lasting tumor regression without causing significant toxicity, according to the results reported in PNAS. Quote, this study describes a triple combo therapy that induces the robust regression of experimental PDACs, and avoids the onset of tumor resistance. This triple combination is well tolerated in mice.
Okay. When discussing what comes next, Barbacid explains that more work is still required before the therapy can move towards testing in people. Quote, it is important to understand that although experimental results like those described here have never been obtained before, we are still not in a position to carry out clinical trials with the triple therapy. Again, I'll bet you there's people out there that would jump on this. Just jump on it. And
yep. What do they got to lose? 90% will be dead in 5 years.
Write a waiver. Yeah, sign a waiver. Whatever happens, happens. Just,
Yeah. Barbacid also notes that adapting the 3-drug combination for clinical use will require additional refinement and development, probably the dosage, I'm thinking. Despite the current limitations, these results could open the door to new therapeutic options to improve the clinical outcome of patients with pancreatic ductal adenocarcinoma in the not too distant future. That's a good story.
It is a good story. So, but yeah, again, these clinical trials, and I get it, there's probably malpractice and lawsuits and all that kind of stuff that they're concerned about. But I'm sure there's somebody out there that says, look, I've been given the long face by the doctor and I've only got a few months or a year to live or whatever. And what's the worst that can happen? Yeah. I'm only gonna live a few months. So even if they lived a few more months, would that be worth it to try?
Yeah,
I think it would be. I think it would be. So.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Take care. Thanks.